Wednesday that is going to be, you know it is, highly questionable. This is Sarah Spain. What do you like today, Sarah?
I think we're still fixing the NFL. Is that
Are we?
Are we doing that?
No,
still?
let's fix other things. There are other things to fix here. Let's fix Serena. Dale, papi.
Is Serena's collapse a fluke or something more?
Every day this week, we've been told 3 a.m., check out the Australian Open, and all of us have been waiting for the match that Serena Williams was 1 point from giving us. I feel like we should change all of tennis rules, do like we do with football, and just get her to this next match because she had a foot fault 1 point away, and she rolled her ankle as well. And what ended up happening is this is two things. It's one of the greatest collapses we've ever seen and among the biggest ever for Serena, but it's also one of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen. And people can't do that against Serena, so I'm guessing that Serena was just a little bit injured.
She claims she wasn't, though. She says the ankle thing didn't hinder her. Not only is this only the third time in her career that she's lost a Grand Slam match when she had a match point, but she was up 5-1. Not only did she blow it when she only had 1 point to win, but she blew it on her next services. She blew it on her opponent's services. This was a collapse unlike anything we could ever expect from Serena. And the question is this fluke or something more? Only time will tell, and that's not a great sports answer, but I think what's fascinating to watch is how close she's gotten after the pregnancy of her first child. What is holding her back from finally getting the win? Is it focus? Is it realizing that tennis isn't the most important thing to her and that's in the back of her mind? Is it just physically not having enough confidence in her body right now? This is so interesting to watch because somehow it makes us all the more impressed with what she did before, that she can't just immediately return and do it again.
This sport devours young people who find it lonely because of the monotonous repetition. I thought that Venus Williams was going to be the better tennis player. She faded really fast, even coming from a family where they're strong and dedicated. The idea that she would have a baby and it might be slightly less important to her because she has perspective and she's been dominating for 20 years is an interesting one to consider.
I think that she didn't want to lose to Osaka again.
Oh, an interesting theory. She realized, wait a minute, I'm 1 point away. I don't want to do this again. I'm not sleeping while the baby's been crying. Let me go home.
First time was a fluke. If I lose to her again...
Is it okay if Jerry Jones is deciding which player should get the ball?
I love this question so much. Cole Beasley was targeted plenty this year, but he says that the front office is deciding who gets targeted. And we have never, I don't think, had an owner this nakedly ambitious about publicly emasculating everyone and showing that he's in charge. As puppet coach, he does what he wants. This is his rich man's toy. He has parlayed it into amazing wealth with a stadium, and also, as an added bonus, he wants to win the thing without Jimmy Johnson. So he runs everything. He puts his family in charge of things, and he's allowed. And soon he's going to coach an entire football game just holding a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue.
You seem to be impressed. I feel like this is aspirational for you, when instead we should be saying, of course he shouldn't be doing this. You can't be owner, GM, coach, offensive coordinator, premier marketer. You have to pick a lane because there's no accountability on this team, right? Who are you blaming then if things don't go right? Are we calling up Jerry Jones to say, why aren't you targeting Beasley more? This needs to be a focus of this organization because every rumor about them right now has any number of changes happening and they all still mean Jerry Jones is in charge. Doesn't matter who you name to this job, who you name to this job. We all know who's calling the shots. The best part of this story, though, is that a week before, Beasley liked an Instagram post that went after Jerry Jones, and he said it was an accident. And then a mere 7 days later, he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to tweet it out, right flat out. I don't even need to hide anymore.
Are we not going to pay attention to this man's history? He loves this stuff. He loves the carnival. He loves when his players were getting in trouble and they were in the news. Did you not see what he did with the national anthem, trying to make it about him? He does press conferences and a weekly radio show. This guy, it's his toy. Go ahead and tell him. Try and take it away from him. Goodell and him got into an argument. He ain't afraid of anybody.
You know who got a lot of touches in Jerry Jones' offense?
Okay.
The punter.
My father sort of sang the punter. Plenty of touches.
Is John Elway being a crotchety old man by pushing back against using replay for pass interference?
He is not a crotchety old man. He's a wrong old man. He does not think that the games will be fast enough if we are reviewing everything on every pass interference. But if the principle and point of this is not aesthetics, not how long the game lasts, but we're talking about this because a team was wronged getting to the Super Bowl. If the point is to be fairer, you have to, on 50-yard calls, when guys are trying to break their spleens, you have to get those calls right. So be fairer. Be fairer by doing more. You're not going to get to perfect, but you can get to more right.
Well, first of all, I don't think we have any pace of play issues in the NFL. No one's watching saying, oh, please, less football. Of course, getting it right is most important, but I think John Elway's issue here is not really understanding what's being presented. We're not looking to review every pass interference, which is the exact words he used. We're looking to be able to challenge pass interference. That doesn't mean there will be more challenges. That means when you use your challenge, you have a wider array of plays to choose from. The issue here will be that when you are challenging something, you need to be specific about what it is. Not was there also a holding and, oh, we missed that guy who stepped out of bounds who came back in. I am challenging whether the intended receiver was interfered with or not. That's what we're looking at, and we're going to get the call right because, as Dan said, in the end, all that matters is that a Super Bowl berth isn't decided by a bad call that we're spending days talking about instead of anything that actually happened between the players that was correct football. So I think John Elway, just like so many others, is caught in the semantics of what's subjective, what's a judgment call. A catch rule has as many bullet points that you have to go down as pass interference does at this point, and you're allowed to review that.
Has anyone seen Fidel Godot since this thing happened? Is he under his desk again, hiding? He doesn't want to face the music?
Is he under his desk again, not facing the music? No, he's counting all the money of this great Super Bowl that, again, is going to be bigger than it's ever been.
Should Marc Gasol or Mike Conley lure big offers from a contender?
That happened, it feels like, a little quickly, where the Memphis Grizzlies feel like they're playing dinosaur basketball against a team that has a lot of better players. Mike Conley is basically famous for making more money in basketball without being all-star kind of great. And Marc Gasol, it feels like that game, even though it's wonderful for his size and has always been something that you want in basketball, isn't fast enough. The Memphis Grizzlies are bad because they have these two players as their stars. I don't think they lure very much.
What's fascinating, though, is that these two players got them to 7 straight playoffs. This was a combination that you thought was always going to be there and at least was going to make something more of what they had. But at this point, when they're selling them off, if it's a contender, I don't think so. Conley is due $67 million over the next 2 years, and Gasol's going to be 34 next week. So I just don't think they're going to get the package back. They waited a little too long to go out and sell them. The only interesting thing I saw was potentially the Pelicans for Conley, and the reason for that is they're going to lose Anthony Davis anyway. You might at least try to go out and get a guy to put next to him that's going to make things more interesting for the fans and for the fan base and maybe convince Anthony Davis that you're willing to spend money to bring in stars around him. I can't see them really going anywhere else that's contending.
Oh, I got a deal for them, buddy.
What's the deal, Poppy?
Whiteside and Wade.
For
Mike
Conley. Wade.
Not Wade. Stop trading Wade.
Yeah,
What's the matter with you?
You know,
Why wouldn't you go Whiteside and Tyler Johnson there? Why are you trading Dwayne Wade?
We're throwing a Spolstra too, you know what I mean?
Okay,
That's it, the trio.
Spolstra
That's
too.
it. Wade, Whiteside, and Spol.
Can I explain something to the audience? The Miami Heat PR department hates him. They've taken him out of videos because he continues to bash the team for no good reason, even though the team has given him nothing but delight since he started cheering for it the moment LeBron got here.
Delight and free tickets, right?
And free ice cream.
How should Kyler Murray feel about the possibility of playing for John Gruden?
John Gruden is willing to evolve, even though many of the reports suggest that he's old school, that he's from a different time. He doesn't care for analytics. He's telling you that he's seen evidence that short quarterbacks can play in that league, and he's got plenty of points to make on the subject.
I used to think that a lot until I saw Drew Brees twice a year in Tampa, and then I met Russell Wilson coming out of NC State. And now I'm watching this kid Murray at Oklahoma, and I am putting away all the prototypes that I once had. You know, I used to have a prototype for hand size, you know, height, arm length, all that stuff. We're looking for guys that can play and do a lot of different things, and they come in all shapes and sizes nowadays.
I wonder if he had a prototype for defensive linemen and Khalil Mack just didn't match up. Either way, listen, there's a lot of things that have been said about Gruden this season, most of them deserved, but I will say there is a tiny part of me that says once he's done getting rid of everybody that doesn't fit his image of the team and getting all the draft picks that he's looking for and actually starts to work towards winning, then we might have a better idea of whether he can make good on somebody like Kyler Murray. So far, I would be terrified if I were any player to go to this guy who doesn't like advanced statistics and seems like he's stuck in 1995. But maybe that was all a clever ruse from Gruden to set himself up to be able to make the team that he wants. Just give him, I don't know, 6 or 7 more years.
I wanted to make serious sports and football analysis here, but I've got to be totally honest with you, and I think I speak for my father on this. I was totally distracted by all of those Reese's advertisements there, and I haven't been thinking about anything since then. I mean, right, Bobby? Did that happen to you too?
That looked good.
I mean, it did. That's why those ads are there. That's why Gruden is paid like that, to sell $100 million in Reese's.
Reese's, peanut
That's
butter.
right.
Peanut
I
butter.
thought you were going to say this.
Oh, Siri.
Right down my alley. Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Oh, no. What's
Oh, he's going to land on his
gonna try
face
to
or something.
dunk and catch it and then...
Time to play the game that can make anything sound sultry. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
Creepy coming from him.
Do you question if this was carefully thought out?
I'm worried already.
I mean, that should be the title to everything that you see from video in this segment. Do
it
you
should be
question?
the title of the show.
Yes. Do you think this was carefully thought out?
Oh, no. What's
Oh, he's going to land on his
gonna try
face
to
or something.
dunk and catch it and then...
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, oh!
Oh, gee.
Oh, my God! I don't know! That has serious depth perception problems.
We didn't even get the payoff where he did whatever he was going to do, which I think was to try to dunk it from there.
Sarah, it was a lot easier than that. It was just, hey, land on the mat. And that guy, yes, I guess he got dizzy from all the acrobatics.
Who elected him as the chosen athlete? Nobody else? I mean, land on the mat. Just drop your legs, bro.
Right there.
It's like when you're bowling and you don't let go and whoop, right back.
Haven't we seen something like this before? Sure, I remember seeing something like this before.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, Spud Webb over here.
Oh, Poppy's
Oh!
Ah!
Oh,
Oh, man.
the chiropractor's dream. Oh, I think you're supposed to put water under that and call it American Ninja Warrior. You're not just supposed to do that above a brick of wood.
It is said sometimes, though, that Allen Iverson has fallen on hard times.
Do you question if this is a good driver?
This better not be a woman.
Poppy, left blinker on all the time.
All the time,
Yeah,
that's it.
Not a good,
Left blinker.
not a good driver. Let's see a good
no.
driver.
This is terrifying.
These people scare me every time they do this. The motorcycle riders make me crazy when they do this. It's reckless with your life. That is a missile flying down the street. It's got no cushioning, no peanut wrap, no
Why
stuff.
are there nothing but trucks on this road? Where is he? Oh, there's a car. Great. Wow.
I mean,
That's not a good way to go.
no, no, no,
Who
no, no,
wants
no,
to
no,
go
no,
out
no,
like
no, no, no.
that?
Oh, for the love of God.
I hope there's a pregnant woman on the back of that motorcycle. Like, where does he need to be?
A pregnant woman. This would be the most amazing video ever if they were just rushing to the hospital. This is unpleasant. You guys are bothering my stomach,
Oh,
man.
God,
This is
where
unpleasant.
he? How long is this video go on forever? Is this on a loop? Are these
No!
the same trucks?
No!
I saw sparks. I saw sparks.
You didn't see sparks.
I saw sparks.
Does this video come complete with an ending? No?
Yeah, the end is therapy.
Ah! Ah!
Oh my God.
Wow, that's something, you know. You won't be able to walk through those trucks without
That's right.
that.
I wouldn't even be
Getting
able to
stuck,
walk
you know what I mean?
That's right. I would get stuck because, you see, I'm wide and unathletic and clumsy. So I would get crushed by the trucks. You see how that works?
Wide load.
That's right. Wide load.
Do you question if this goose has swag?
Do you know what swag is, Poppy? Do you know what swag is?
Swag is somebody that is, you know, goes like that. You know, he got some type of movement, you know, he got style.
I mean, that's right. That's a good working definition.
Yeah.
Does this goose have swag?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what do you mean, does this goose have swag? Of course it does. Look at this. This thing right here is saying, I am going to produce more geese with all my sensuality.
I don't know. I think that goose is judging the other geese for their outfits.
Oh, he is, or she is rocking it right here.
That guy is so cool that I got goosebumps, you know what I mean?
Ah, goosebumps. I see what you did there, Poppy. It's a pun.
Yeah. What?
Great gummies.
Broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that got carded recently and was very flattered. See? Oh no.
Flattered. I don't know whether it was flattened or flatted, but you tell us what to watch on television tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued.
Tonight on ESPN, Spurs and 76ers.
No, Poppy, but I do want to check in with a dance-off. You want to check out a dance-off among fans, Poppy?
Sure, why not?
All right, sure, why not? Who's down for a dance-off?
All right. All right.
Say the shirtlessness is unnecessary in the first instance, but is necessary
salsa?
in the second one. Okay, I've got my winner picked out. Young man, young fit man, you're going to have to get on out of here because you do not have any of this. Yeah, this is a blowout. Nope, I'm sorry, kid. Nope.
Patrick Swayze and Chris Farley.
Yes.
It's a sketch all over again.
Yes. And a green oven mitt, I think, for some reason. Sarah, are you intrigued?
Pretty sure that was a cast, Dan. It's something you put on your hand if you have an injury. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
All right. I was
My wife
distracted.
thought it was
I'm
an
sorry.
oven
I was distracted by the undulating nipples. My bad. Poppy, are you
Somebody who's been
intrigued?
in a kitchen enough would know what an oven mitt looks like.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But that's not how you dance shirtless.
Oh, no.
You want to see somebody dancing shirtless? You know the way that's supposed to be done.
Sarah,
This is the way you do it.
Sarah,
That's
get out of
That's
here.
right. That's right.
Sarah, I don't want a problem with human resources. Get out of there. Oh, dear God, Poppy. It's a prison of terror. Get out of there.
On your local CBS station, The Price is Right.
Poppy, who was the old host of The Price is Right?
I forgot the guy's name. What's the guy's name? I don't remember.
Okay, very good. Let's check in with The Price is Right.
Sarah Armstrong.
Sarah, are you intrigued?
That's magical. Yeah, I'm in for anything. Yeah.
How about you, Poppy? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued, but that's the reason that I always wear a diaper, so I don't lose a second,
That's right, 'cause
where
you
the
never
ships
know.
are down. I gotta be right there.
Yes, that is
Can't
the
afford,
reason.
can't afford.
You never know when Jim Carrey is going to ask you to spin a wheel. It's the reason he wears a diaper.
Can you smell it?
Oh,
There it
boy.
is.
Okay.
Bang.
All right.
Tonight on History Channel, Night Fight.
Poppy, how about knife fights? Oh, yes.
I think he said night fight.
I'm telling you, night. Oh,
Night.
they fall, you know what I mean? You know,
Night.
on top of a horse, you know what I mean? That big thing.
Oh, the sword. My father's got it being sword fights. Those are different. What are these?
Third at 10 on History.
I had it being knife fights. He had it night fights. It was actually night fights, and every boy throughout history wants to watch that show. Sarah, are you intrigued?
Yeah, it's sponsored by Low T, I think. It's like every man who thinks he can do that is sitting on his couch. Like, yeah, beat each other up. This is great.
How about you, Poppy? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Listen, the real nice, they get on a horse and they go at each other with these big poles, you know, they hit each other and see who stays in the horse. They go, bong! And then you got to stay on the horse. If you fall off the horse, then you're a big chicken, you know what I mean?
Or you're dead. Or in medieval times, you're dead.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let these guys handle any animals. I think they're just fine.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
That's what she said as her podcast. Check it out on all the ESPN gizmos.
I'm not really wearing a diaper, but I should be.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's true though.
It's tricky.
True.
It's tricky.
Tricky.
When you get a diaper, you got to make sure that, doesn't have a leak. Because if it has a leak, then you got a leakage in it.
Sounds like someone with experience.